Hello, everybody. I'm John Martino, CEO and founder of Ricavvo. And today I want to show you our exciting new AI deal coach called LeverEdge. LeverEdge is exciting, and what makes it unique is its systematic approach to solving one of sales' biggest challenges, deal probability. While CRMs and other tools have probability fields, they typically rely on gut feel or simple stage-based percentages, leading to inconsistent forecasting. LeverEdge transforms this by applying the proven ARMBAR methodology with AI and creating an objective, data-driven approach to probability while providing real-time coaching to improve deal outcomes. Let me share a quick story about why we built LeverEdge. We noticed a significant problem in sales organizations. Deal probability was completely subjective. Two experienced reps could look at identical deals and one would say it's 60% probable to close, while the other would call it 40%. As a sales leader, this makes it nearly impossible to truly roll up a truthful forecast. It's unreliable, and it made it extremely difficult for senior leaders of companies to forecast. For instance, a large company has 5 levels of sales, say, right, all the way up to the CRO. Then that CRO has to take all those forecasts as they roll up. So you take the rep's forecast, gut feel. You take the manager took the rep's forecast, put their gut feel, and said, here's my forecast. And you go up each level, and it's all on gut feel. So it just compounds. It's exponential, and it's not good. That's what initially drove us to create LeverEdge, to fix that problem. However, we didn't stop there. We built a robust system that brings together deal probability scoring that I just touched on, real-time deal coaching, strategic risk identification, action-oriented guidance, pipeline management, and much, much more. It's all powered by our proven sales methodology called ARMBAR. Real quick, let me touch on ARMBAR. I'm not going to go into it deeply because one cool thing about LeverEdge is it will teach you ARMBAR. I've been using it for years. I've been teaching it for years. I've had a lot of success with it. It's proven. Many teams have used it. I wrote a book on it, and it was released last month in April of 2025. It's called ARMBAR, the Leverage Blueprint for Sales Mastery. It's available on Amazon. Not trying to sell my book here, but if you're interested in seeing what the basis for ARMBAR is and the thought behind it, it's a quick read. It's about 150 pages. The thought was to get it to a length that a sales rep could read it on a West Coast to East Coast trip. So you don't have to worry about putting a 300-page book down and never picking it up again. I'd rather you consume and not put a lot of fluff in there and understand my thinking behind ARMBAR and why it works and really cool examples than having you read a very long book. All right, now that we touched on ARMBAR, I'm going to talk about another key differentiator in LeverEdge. It's where and how you can access LeverEdge. You're seeing it today in Slack because that's where my sales teams and a lot of sales teams already work. So the worst thing for a sales rep is to have to go to 16 different systems to fill out different things, right? And if you work for a big company, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have 20 different screens open, 16 of them are from sales, other ones for travel. It's a nightmare. So we want to make it easy and keep you in one place, right? We also have a web interface, which is great too, okay? But this is how we use it at my company and how a lot of our customers are using it as well. All right, the other thing is, another thing LeverEdge can do. So right now it creates, every time you speak to it, you'll see in a second, it creates a deal opportunity. Every time you pipe a new deal, it creates a deal opportunity or it updates a deal opportunity that already exists, depending on what you are doing. It gives a deal ID, which you don't need to memorize because you can always pull up a deal you ask LeverEdge, bring up this deal, and it will. Bring up the ABC Corp deal, and it will bring it up. Bring up your whole pipeline. I'll show you that later. But it also can write all this data to the CRM as well, okay? We don't use it. We actually, now that we have LeverEdge, and I'm not advocating for this just yet, but we've done away with the CRM because this is our CRM. However, I don't expect most companies to do that yet, and that's okay. So if you use Salesforce or HubSpot or Pipedrive, whatever, as long as they have APIs, we can write to them. Most of them do. There's not many that I know of that don't have the ability to have us be able to write to the CRM. So it also, again, now we're not making a rep go from LeverEdge and also put the same exact data in the CRM if we do it that way. Okay, so we eliminated that with that capability. The best part about LeverEdge, in my opinion, one of the best things, there's a lot of best, I'm going to probably say the best part multiple times. I'm really excited about this product. I've been using it. My teams have been using it, and we love it. It's changed our whole existence. But the best part in this case is that you don't need any special training to use it. Why? I'm going to show you why. LeverEdge will tell you how to work with it. You don't need to be trained on it. He will guide you. The whole point is he's guiding you through the ARMBAR methodology. You don't need to understand the ARMBAR. You don't need to go read my book. That's why I'm not trying to sell it. Some people want to, and they always ask. So I said that, plugged it, but at the same time, it's gonna make your reps do and you do the ARMBAR methodology and complete it and follow it. So I asked LeverEdge simply, "Hey LeverEdge, can you tell me how to work with you?" And as you see, he's telling you exactly how you can work with him. Okay, you can ask him anything, and if he has the answer, he'll give it to you. But in this case, he will guide you on how to work with him. So again, really helpful when you bring in a new rep, new manager. Even you don't have to teach them. LeverEdge will guide them. We also have different, permissions for just like in CRM. For those who use Salesforce, managers can see certain things, reps can see certain things, different types of roles can see different things, right? So I know I was an ISV team at a couple of companies, and we could see more than, say, a direct rep because we're interfacing differently. So again, we have permissions. My point is that we have permissions that we could set up based on your role and based on your level. Now let's see what LeverEdge really does, okay? So we're going to put some basic deal information in and talk to it like it's a person. It's almost like it's your boss, your mentor, your coworker. So I'm just saying that initial call, right? Gave it some details about what the opportunity is about, assigned the guests at a price, and gave a vague description of a timeline. Okay. It's pretty fascinating. What LeverEdge is doing now is analyzing this information against the database, making sure, hey, this deal doesn't exist already. And it doesn't. So now it creates a new deal. Okay. So it says initial opportunity, and it creates a deal scorecard. All right. So what it's doing is it's scoring the different areas of ARMBAR, which are authority, requirement, moment, budget, approach, risks. I can go into detail on those. I don't have to. LeverEdge can do that for you as well. But again, it's assigning scores. Notice the point system's a little bit different, right? So 15, 25, 10, 25, 25. That's because it's the way our algorithm works. However, it's also not linear from there. For instance, the total score in this deal is 18 out of 100. That's 18%. No, it's not. LeverEdge says it's still 10% is the current probability of this deal. So again, it takes this score, goes through our algorithm. There's other factors involved, and it comes with a pretty accurate, in my opinion, probability. If you put this same data into your favorite LLM or agent out there, the publicly facing ones, I've done it. One said 60% probability. And if you're a salesperson, you know darn well that the info I gave it is not a 60% deal. It's a 10% deal. We don't know much. So anyway, it's telling us first the probability. Then it goes into why. Why is a low probability? Gives you 3 reasons. Then it gives you 3 strategic questions. I'm not going to read each question. You can pause and read them if you want to read everything here. But I want to get through some good content here. So I'm going to, instead of boring you with reading what you can read on the screen, I'm going to let you guys pause where you want to and look into this more. But what it's doing is giving 3 strategic questions. It always does. The reason for that is because it wants to give you strategic questions that it needs answered, that you need answered in order to move that probability up. The whole goal of this thing is to get you to 100%, right? Which means your deal's closed. And so it's going to guide you to get there and try and get you there. Then it gives you 3 immediate next steps to improve probability, saying that here, right? And then below that, you can see the deal ID that it created. Again, you don't need to know the deal ID, but that's just how it parses it out in the database. So now we got the initial deal, and it's a 10% deal. It's a very low probability deal. Now we're going to say that, let's say we fast forward a week and we had more meetings. So now I come back and give LeverEdge a little update here. We just finished the discovery call. We learned some things that change things. Okay, it's going to change. Hopefully, we'll see what LeverEdge makes of it, but it's going to change some things with the deal. Got some more information. LeverEdge is evaluating several things. The strength of our multi-threading. In other words, LeverEdge will definitely judge if you're single-threaded talking to one person. Any good salesperson knows that's not a good thing. LeverEdge knows that too. He's going to judge you on that. And the clarity of the business case is another one. Timeline alignment, budget. It's going to look at holistically the whole deal. All right, so let's see what he came back with. He says significant progress. The deal score went up to 52, but again, it doesn't match the probability for the algorithm. So it's at 40%, which is now, it's not a probable deal, but it's moving up. It's medium, okay? And he's going to give you reasons why it moved up, all right? And then 3 strategic questions. They've changed, by the way. If you look at the last screen, they've changed a bit because we've answered some of the ones that he asked us to ask. I keep saying he. I don't know if LeverEdge is a he or she. I've always called it a he. Maybe it's a she. Depends on, I guess, what voice you hear in your head when you talk to it, or what you think of it. In the prototype stage, it had a name, and it was a male name, and that's probably why I call it a he. Anyway, and then it gives you the next three immediate next steps. Again, not the exact ones as last time. It's constantly evolving to help you move forward, because now we're at 40%. He wants to get you higher. Another one of my favorite features of LeverEdge is how does it help identify and manage risks? One big part of the ARMBAR framework is identifying and mitigating risks constantly in a deal. And LeverEdge is going to do the same. And any good salesperson is always mitigating risks, whether it's a competitive product, whether it's a limitation, whether it's not an exact fit. There's all different risks that come up during a deal. And LeverEdge is going to help us go through the risks and mitigate them. And a lot of times, strategic questions, his agenda is to help mitigate the risks. So, okay. So now, first, it's updating. Okay, it's updating what we told it, because we said, hey, executive team on board, failed implementation. We gave it and told that they're also in the middle of a CRM migration. So that throws some wrenches in. So it lowered the total score. It didn't lower the deal probability, but it did. Here's what I'm saying. It did say it highlighted a high risk, which wasn't here before. That a previous failed implementation and a concurrent CRM migration. So it's really 2 risks, but it rolled it into 1. So it's telling you there's a huge risk in this deal. That's why the total score went down. Probability still stays the same because it's still 40% deal. It's telling you why it's medium still. It's changed a little bit based on the new information. It's giving you 3 more strategic questions, and then 3 more next steps. So let's now ask it to analyze the risks in this deal and give me a mitigation plan for each. And this is really helpful because sometimes you give info and you didn't really spot the risk. I think a CRM integration or migration going on at the same time as you're trying to do another project here, that's significant, right? Especially when it's they've had failed implementations in the past. There's only so much technical team. There's only so much bandwidth that the teams have. So I think that's a risk. Let's see if, he obviously already flagged it as a risk actually above, but let's see what he comes up with. Here we go. He lists 4 risks here, okay? The first one is a high risk, 8 of 10, all right? And it tells us it's a failed previous implementation. It gives us a 4-step mitigation plan to mitigate the risk. Same with risk 2, it's a 7 out of 10, and it goes all the way down to a medium risk. So we have 4 risks, and it's giving us a mitigation plan for each, which is super helpful for any salesperson. There might be risks in here that, people didn't really see, like change management, right? So, we have to help them change the way we're doing the implementation so that way it goes off without a hitch next time. So anyway, that's a really, I think, a really cool feature of LeverEdge is the risk mitigation plans. So now I want to ask it to help me craft some collateral. So I'm asking LeverEdge to help me create an agenda for my next meeting with Kimura to address these implementation concerns. Okay, so a lot of times as a salesperson, you're you're going 20 different ways at once. You're managing multiple deals. You're managing multiple cycles, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. Do you really have time to put agendas together? Let's be honest. A lot of times they get hurried at night or on a flight or in between meetings. I'm not saying that LeverEdge will be perfect at it because I still believe in human sales, but this is a pretty darn good start, and you could use this for a meeting. So again, it's giving a 90-minute planning session. Now, if we wanted it shorter, we could tell it it's a 30-minute, a 60-minute. It's saying that 90 minutes would be best, and it gives a step-by-step agenda. It's recommending who should be there, okay? And then it's giving you some pre-meeting actions to take before the meeting, all right? Like for instance, the current CRM migration timeline, because that's important to understand what other projects they have going and when. And, and then it's asking you kind of what else you'd like me to do. So again, it's a pretty good agenda, okay? And it knows nothing. This is a demo environment. It doesn't know about the product we're selling. It doesn't know about Kimura. There's going to be a lot more meat to this in a production environment as well. So, all right. So we kind of went through some cool features of LeverEdge, right? Some things that it does, and it's constantly pulling up, deals. Let me show you now. Say we start a new chat. Okay. Now I come back. It's a couple days later, or say I'm the manager of the rep that put Kimura in. I don't know anything about the deal. I have a meeting coming up with my boss, and I haven't had a chance to connect with my rep because he or she's been traveling all over the world. Okay, so I'm going to ask LeverEdge if he can tell me about the Kimura LTD deal. Okay, so again, even if I knew about the deal, I still want to get a refresher. I still want to understand where it's at. Maybe I missed something, right? Usually you'd have to dig into CRM. If you can't talk to your rep and the rep does a good job at filling out CRM, which I have a whole nother issue with, which I'll talk about, then you have to go in the CRM, find the notes, and hope they're right. Here at least you have, the basics of the deal, where it's at, and you can ask it, can you list the risks in this deal? So we can go further, right? So it's giving me the basic scorecard, if you will, of the deal. Tell me where it stands. Tell me why. Tell me strategic questions we're going to ask. Now I'm asking it. So it pulled it up in a new window. Okay. Now I'm going to ask it to list the risks again. Because again, we just did that. But again, this is a new day, right? A new person, a new something. It's a new window. So I'm just showing you how you can query the database or query the AI agent to then pull up the deals that you need. As a manager, this would be super helpful. As a rep, this would be super helpful. Maybe I'm going into a meeting with somebody about this, my boss. Maybe I'm going into a forecast call and I have 15 deals I'm working and I need some help organizing my thoughts. Well, so here's a risk. So again, I can query anything. It's giving me the risks here because that's what I asked it for. I can query about the deal in any way I need to. All right, so now we're going to talk about pipeline management a little bit and just show really quick how you view your pipeline. So in a lot of CRMs, you have to run a report, or maybe there's a dash or something. But in LeverEdge, it's a simple conversation, to be honest. So let me just say, just very basically, show me all my deals. Okay. So what LeverEdge is going to do now is pull up all of the deals that I have visibility to, my deals, right? I didn't ask for my team's deals. I asked for my deals. If I'm a manager, I can ask for my team's deals. It'd be a much longer list. But in this case, we're assuming that I'm a rep, and I want to pull up my whole pipeline to understand it, and to maybe there's a forecast call, maybe I have a QBR, who knows? So it gives you all of the open deals. It gives you the close date. It gives you the forecasted amount. It gives you the deal probability, and then the weighted forecast. So the weighted forecast is obviously forecasted amount multiplied by the percentage gets you the weighted amount, because that's what you should be forecasting up. So again, it has every deal I have, and then it has closed or unqualified deals as well. So it's showing that we have 8 instances of Acme Corp. Again, this is a demo environment, so it's seen Acme Corp. I've used that a lot, and then I tell it to take it out of the pipeline because there's so many of them. And then there's demo account unqualified, same thing. But again, then it shows you your total unqualified deals or closed. If we had closed deals, it would also give the actual closed amount. And then it gives a little bit of analysis. Okay. We have 17 active deals. DEFG Corp is at 500K, highest probability. It analyzes that there's a lot of deals that are lower probability, total pipeline value, and the weighted value of your pipeline as well. Another thing that LeverEdge can do is, say I'm having an issue in my sales career, right? And I am having trouble closing deals. My close rates are much lower than my peers. Can you help me? Now, because it knows what deals are yours, this isn't just a general sales coaching opportunity for LeverEdge. Okay. So it's really going to coach you specifically, which is pretty cool. Again, you go to your manager with that question if they have time to coach, which it's another reason we built LeverEdge. As a manager, once you get busy, it sounds really good. You get a new rep, you put some time aside, all of a sudden $1 million deal pops up from somebody else that you have to go focus on. What goes first? Coaching. Right, wrong, or indifferent? I think it's wrong, but you have a number to make. We're all in sales. So it's kind of hard to do both sometimes. You only have so many hours in a day. So I asked it how to fix my problem, and it gave me some recommendations. Right, it's telling me about multi-threading, because again, that's important. Qualifications, the risk identification and addressing them early. So basic sales. It could go further, but I think again, you're seeing that not only is this product something that scores deals, helps you qualify. I mean, it's a sales coach. It truly is a sales coach. I had an intern. I was coaching. I let LeverEdge do it for a while, and I realized LeverEdge is actually better than me because it's smarter than me. Let's just be honest. It has all my knowledge, plus other knowledge, plus it's an AI, so it's very intelligent. I'm not saying don't watch it. Another reason we use it in Slack is we make channels, right? So deal channels. But I can also, as the manager, I have access to any conversations that were happening in it, because it just like Salesforce. You're having a conversation, or any CRM. Whatever you put in the CRM, people can query. Whatever's in LeverEdge, the people with the right, again, for both cases, the people with the right permissions can query and see it. So again, I just want to give everyone a quick overview of LeverEdge. I think it's extremely powerful. The best way to get the power of it is to do a trial. We offer free trials. Contact us at sales@ricavvo.com. I'm going to write it here in the box down here so you can see it. hopefully we hear from you and we're able to give you a trial of LeverEdge, because I'm a strong believer that LeverEdge is the future of sales. Thank you and have a great day.